Arsenal are quietly having a stellar summer transfer window. They've already signed two solid backup players in Matt Turner and Marquinhos. No, not that one, this one. But it is the high-profile acquisitions of Gabriel Jesus and Oleksandr Zinchenko from Man City, as well as Fabio Vieira from Porto, that has caught everyone's eye. The former two in particular were impressive signings, to say the least, considering they come with championship-winning experience and are joining a young Arsenal side that's not even going to compete in the Champions League next season, after narrowly finishing 5th behind Tottenham last season. Compared to the other Big Six teams, Arsenal's transfer budget isn't and has never been sizable, but what they have done this summer is spend it wisely on players they know will reinforce the team and play to manager Mikel Arteta's style. In their pre-season friendlies thus far, we've already seen early signs of what Jesus is capable of in this system. And while Arsenal had a solid starting 11 last season, the quality in their squad depth was lacking, and not every player fitted perfectly into the system. But with their new signings, it's fair to say Arsenal is finally looking like a club with a plan. How will Arsenal's new summer signings improve the team in 2022-23? Let's discuss this and more in today's video. Does size matter in a striker? For Arteta, perhaps not, judging by his faith in Jesus and Eddie Nketiah as his two centre forwards, neither of whom are taller than 5 feet 9 inches. But physicality is more than just height, and they make up for their lack of it in their intensity and constant pressing that wreak havoc in the opponent's back line. During pre-season, Arteta has even shown his willingness to deploy both in tandem up front. In particular, Jesus' ability to travel with the ball from deep is what Arsenal sorely need to execute their passing build-up play. Last season, Alexander Lacazette's inability to carry the ball made Arsenal's attack one-dimensional at times. But so far in pre-season, Jesus has shown a willingness and capacity to take on defenders. In Fabio Vieira, Arsenal have brought in a player whose surname would ring a bell with many Arsenal fans. The club's interest in the midfielder intensified after last summer's European Under-21 Championship, in which he was named Player of the Tournament. The individual award quickly cemented Vieira as a potential future star, akin to the likes of past winners including Juan Mata, Thiago Alcantara, and Andrea Pirlo. Although just 22, he has already demonstrated the maturity of a player who's been at it for years, an old head on young shoulders, so to speak. Porto's assistant coach Vitor Bruno even once praised him as having the intelligence of wise old men. 2021-22 was his breakout season as he became Porto's main creative force after Luis Diaz departed for Liverpool in January, finishing the season with 7 goals and 16 assists in 39 appearances across all competitions. Meanwhile, at left back, Tierney's inconsistent availability and Nuno Tavares' shaky performances show why Arsenal stepped up their interest in Oleksandr Zinchenko after losing out to Lisandro Martinez, who followed his former manager Ten Hag in signing for Manchester United. But the 25-year-old Ukrainian is another who can operate in similar zones to Martinez, starting at left back but moving into midfield in possession to strengthen Arsenal's midfield options. In Zinchenko, Arsenal is also getting a player with whom manager Arteta has been keen to reunite since working together at Man City. Evidently, Arsenal have recently emphasized running extensive background checks to know the player profiles of their new signings, as well as targeting established Premier League players who can hit the ground running. On paper, Arsenal frequently deployed a 4-2-3-1 formation last season, which would look more like a 4-3-3 in transition. This was because of their slightly tilted double pivot in midfield, with Granit Xhaka venturing into the opponent's half on the left side, while Thomas Partey would sit deeper as a more traditional CDM. Another common trend last season was how Martin Odegaard would constantly drift to the right half space as opposed to playing centrally as number 10. There, he would drop deeper to receive off Tomiyasu at right back before combining with Bukayo Saka at right wing, either finding him isolated with pockets of space in the final third to burst into, or creating a chance himself. So what will be fascinating to see is whether Arteta will opt for Vieira on the left side of his midfield 3. The Portuguese predominantly appeared in the attacking third for Porto, either as a second striker, central attacking midfielder, or deep-lying central midfielder. And given his tendency to drift into the right half space, it would be safe to assume he arrived as an alternative to Odegaard. But his positional intelligence, as well as his newfound defensive instincts in ball recovery and interceptions, means he could also benefit as a potential replacement for Xhaka as the team's left-sided central midfielder. Alternatively, it might be that Arteta finds a way for both Vieira and Odegaard to play together as twin playmakers in front of Thomas Partey. After all, Vieira works harder off the ball and will bring precious goal contributions to Arsenal's left side attack, so Gabriel Martinelli will surely benefit from his eye for penetrative diagonal passes. But perhaps the biggest personnel upgrade will be replacing Lacazette with Jesus, given the latter's ability to travel well with the ball and being sharp enough to link up play with those around him. In fact, Lacazette's influence dwindled by the week last season to the point where teams actively marked him out of games. Jesus being more present in the opposition half should also ease pressure on attacking through the wide areas. Last season, without a platform to play off of centrally, Arsenal had to focus attacks down the wings before moving infield to create. With Jesus, they should be more capable of dynamic attacks through the middle of the pitch when needed. And finally, Zinchenko will likely slot in at Arsenal's left-back position. But seeing as he grew up playing as a traditional number 10, Arteta might have other uses for him. He's a very different player to Tierney, not only because he's not always injured, but because he's more of an inverted fullback, meaning you often find him playing more centrally to exchange short passes around the box or assist his teammates. This might mean Arsenal's left winger, usually Martinelli, will have to stay wide to offer width. Tierney, by contrast, plays as an overlapping fullback and tends to send crosses into the box from the far left side of the pitch. But Zinchenko can do both, and alongside Jesus, can help unlock Arsenal's attacking potential through the centre. Outside of signings, there are many factors that can dictate whether a team will improve in terms of performance. Generally speaking, quality, commitment, and consistency are the three prerequisites for competing with the best of the best. And while Arsenal's new signings bring bags of quality and desire to prove themselves, whether the team as a whole is capable of consistently delivering results is another question. But if Arsenal can keep their key players and make a couple more quality signings to strengthen their squad depth, who's to say they won't challenge for a top 4 spot next season? Will Arsenal improve in 2022-23? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.